You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Monday, June 22nd. Thank you guys for joining us wherever you are, however you are taking part in the show. We definitely do appreciate it. June 22nd, a busy weekend, a holiday weekend, a Father's Day weekend, a big weekend for the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. We got a lot to get to, a lot to talk about, and some breaking news in the world of college basketball that's pretty big as well. So a lot to get to here on today's show. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you for doing that. We appreciate that. Make sure you have subscribed to the show, like it, all those kind of things. If you have, thank you. If you have not, please do so ASAP, and then tell like all your friends about what we're doing each and every weekday at 10 a.m. Right here in the Quad Cities and throughout, of course, the area and the states and, everywhere in between. A lot of good things going on with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We are streaming live on X as well. X has been very, very good to us. So if you're watching us on X, we appreciate that as well. We're also streaming as well, but streaming on the WHO Plus app as well. That's live every single day. The first hour of the show is there for our viewers in Central Iowa. Getting close to almost a year doing that as well. So we appreciate that. If you like the first hour and you're interested in the rest of the show, make sure you stick around. You can head to YouTube. Just put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Check us out there as well. You can also listen to the show on anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Podbean, iHeart, you name it. Wherever you get your podcast, put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and you can listen to the show as well. And we have a lot to talk about today, a great slate to get to, a good group of guests, some breaking news as we get started as well. So a lot to get to here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo as well. A busy week. We'll have a full week, I do believe, barring any changes throughout the week, and some good guests lined up throughout the week as well. We're going to start, though, with a little bit of breaking news that just happened a short time ago. A big deal in Big Ten basketball. And I know the live YouTube chat that we have going on right now, already chatting about it as well. Michigan's Dusty May is officially leaving Ann Arbor and heading to the NBA, of course, leading Michigan to a national championship this past season. He will head to Dallas to coach the Mavericks. Just getting done breaking this morning. Awesome stuff if you host a show and it's the middle of June and you have limited things to talk about. But this is really, really, really a big deal, obviously in the Big Ten and in Michigan and in Ann Arbor and what the Wolverines have done. But this has huge ramifications to our local teams as well. I mean, you look at Illinois and Michigan, obviously no love lost there. They've had a great rivalry. Michigan, the better side of that rivalry last season. Of course, Illinois in the Final Four as well, but it was Michigan winning the national championship. So that definitely affects that dynamic. Obviously, Illinois has a lot of players coming back from this year's team. They got a great amount of retention, added a transfer, great recruiting class coming in. Brad Underwood's been on this show, really excited about what's coming up this next season and where that program's at. Michigan was arguably their biggest competition coming into the season, and now they don't have a head coach. So very intriguing. On the Iowa side of things, Iowa is in for several big-time point guard prospects, including Caden Daughtry, who's going to be on campus for the Iowa State football game. That Michigan is a competitor for their services as well. So probably helps out Iowa in that form as well, including the fact that Michigan's really, really good. And obviously Iowa played them well in the regular season at Carver Hawkeye, but Michigan was a juggernaut. So it'll be interesting to see where things go with that situation. Tom Kakert, he works out every morning. He's just a machine. So TK will join us here probably around the 11 o'clock hour, right around 11 o'clock, maybe a little bit before, after, but around that time we'll talk with Tommy about that breaking news, because like I said, it affects college basketball. And how about the Big Ten portal, the college basketball portal? Obviously it's closed, so you have people leaving for whatever reasons they want to, and going for money and everything else. And then here we are on June 22nd, and Dusty May says, hey, I'm going to the Dallas Mavericks. There's no portal. Like, those players are stuck, I believe. We'll talk to Tom about that. And how ironic is it that maybe there's players that actually have a good reason to leave? And I'm not saying that all the players don't have good reasons to leave, so I should backtrack that a little bit. But players leave for whatever reasons they want. Money, better fit, closer to home, whatever it may be. The portal is wide open. And now you have a situation where their head coach is leaving on June 22nd. There's no coaches portal where like that's closed. Hey, you can't leave anymore because the coaches portal is closed. So while I get cranky about where college athletics may be going, and sometimes take the side against the players, this is one where the players should have every right to say, hey, it's June 22nd and our coach just left. I mean, we talk to the Iowa players all the time. They're in the middle of workouts right now, and things are busy in Iowa City, and they're excited. And that same thing down in Champaign, and they'll get a break here and those type of things. But it's right around the corner, and now Michigan will be looking for a new head coach. So fascinating stuff. We'll talk more about it throughout the show. If you got questions, if you have thoughts, opinions, comments, I know it's already going in the chat, which is awesome. Jump on our chat on YouTube and let us know what you think as well. But we'll try to get Tommy on the show here in a little bit as well. It was a big weekend for the U.S. Open, for golf in general, with the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. I wanted to first and foremost thank everybody, but then I jumped in with the breaking news. But I'll backtrack and first and foremost thank everyone who came out to the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing this past weekend. If you're new to the show and you've not listened to me talk all about it for the last several months, Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing, out of my dad, who passed away about 14 years ago. Doing math in my head, 14 years ago, after kicking cancer's butt for about 10 years, passed away. And so we've started this golf outing. We raise money for a great cause. We celebrate him, and it was another full outing. Beautiful day for golf. I can't thank enough everyone who came out there. Everybody. There's people from Cedar Rapids that came down. They listened to the show and Tommy's show and God bless them. They met Pat Anger, but those people, they came down. My friends, my family, coaches in the area, high school coaches, Jake Kidwell, Corey Kuffler. I'm going to miss all of them, so I'm not going to start saying names, but it was a perfect day for golf, and we raised a ton of money, and we had a blast. So if you were part of that in any way, shape, or form, thank you for coming out. I deeply appreciate it, and I'll start bugging you for next year as well. And I've had several people already say, like, hey, we're coming back next year. So the winning team was Rock Island head football coach Anthony Rome and his team. They won the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. So very cool for them to come out. I think Anthony's taken part in it under a different high school before, but now he's the head coach of Rock Island. So congratulations to those guys, and they got to come back and defend. If they don't, then shame on them. So again, thank you. The Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing not completely done, because our silent auction goes until midnight tonight. So head to GuyRandazzoGolf.com. So many great items that you can take part of and get your hands on when it comes to this year's silent auction. Really a ton of great stuff. You got a signed football from Kirk Ferentz up for bid right now, so you can snag that. A great package from the Iowa women's basketball team when it comes to a four tickets to any game, 4 shirts, you can see them right there, and 4 Iowa mugs as well. So a great package from the Iowa women's basketball program as well. So thank you to them. And the entire everybody up at the University of Iowa that's helped us out when it comes to our silent auction and everything else. The signed basketball by this year's Iowa basketball team, full-size signed basketball, can be had right now. Also, we'll talk a lot about this young man tomorrow on the show, but Bennett Sturtz will be a first-round draft pick in the NBA draft tomorrow night. And you got this picture right here from the game that they clinched to go to the Sweet 16, signed by Bennett Sturtz. So you can snag that right now. Again, Guy Randazzo, golf.com. And I love this picture from Cooper Koch doing the Gator Chomp after the victory to go to the Sweet 16. Of course, his dad was on the last Sweet 16. And then, of course, Cooper, part of that team that broke the drought, snapped the drought, if you will. So you can get your hands on that as well. We also have another great piece from Luca Garza, one of the shirts from his retirement ceremony, signed by Luca as well. So head to GuyRandazzoGolf.com and get into the silent auction. Midnight tonight, that shuts down. We've already raised a great amount of money. We want to raise some more throughout the day today as well. So a lot to get to on today's show. We mentioned Tom Kakert eventually talking about the breaking news. Dusty May leaving Michigan and heading to Dallas and the NBA to coach the Mavericks. Also coming up in a matter of moments, Mike Morrissey will join us, head football coach at Moline. He was the coordinator for the Shrine Bowl this past weekend. A lot of great Quad City representation, both player-wise, coaching-wise. We'll talk to him about the rapidly approaching high school football season. It'll be here before you know it. I know he loves his Maroons. They'll be talented as ever once again. And then also the news of the last couple weeks when it comes to the Western Big Six and Alleman not having a varsity football team this season. We'll get Mike Morrissey's thoughts on that and much more coming up in just a matter of moments. Mike Morrissey will join us. Also coming up on the show today, John Marx, my good friend John Marx. I'm going to be spending all afternoon with John Marx. We're going to be calling a MAC doubleheader for baseball between Assumption and Pleasant Valley starting at 3 p.m. So I'll get to hang with Johnny a lot. But I figured why not expand our Monday and start by talking about, we'll talk a little about the Shrine Bowl because he was on the call for that game. Also, the Alleman situation. We'll talk to him about the Dusty May and a bunch more. We'll talk sports with John Marx coming up a little bit later in the show as well. Also, before we leave, we'll do the best things I saw this past weekend. We're going to start that as a Monday tradition as well. So the best things that I saw over the past weekend, whether it's the world of sports or not, coming up a little bit later on in the show today. So a ton to get to, but we start with a little high school football on a Monday in June. So joining us now to talk all about a awesome weekend of high school football and for a great cause is Mike Morrissey, the head coach of the Moline Maroons. Do you know that football season's like almost here? It comes quicker these days, young man.
Oh, it for sure does. Believe me, the preparation is real. And I think even here and being around those coaches from across the state, like, they also understand the sense of urgency is a little bit more at this time of year than it normally is.
Yeah, he's a guy, and we've talked about my dad's outing so far today. He's a guy that usually bails on it for bad reasons. You had a great reason this year. You were the chairman of the Shriners game down there. Kind of talk about that. You've been part of this for a while in both states. I think you've coached probably in both states with it. It's an amazing cause. And just kind of talk about your maybe history with an event like this.
Yeah, so my dad actually coached in the Iowa Shrine game twice, once as a head coach, once as an assistant. So like the first time, I mean, I spent the whole week up there as a little kid with him, and I remember obviously bits and pieces of it. And then the second time he coached in it, I mean, we got there early for the banquet and all that stuff and spent time there. So I knew what the Shrine game was. I know what the cause is. I know how amazing it is for children across the country to have an option as like the Shriners Hospital. And then 2018, after our 2017 season here, my first year back here, I got asked to coach in the game that summer, and we had a player that was chosen and had a blast down there. And then I started talking to Dave Jacobs a little bit more about kind of the logistics of it and how it works. And at one point he'd asked me like, hey, I'm gonna be done here in like 2 to And it's like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. And you don't realize how much work goes into it because Dave is so organized and had so many great relationships with people that would do things. But it was an absolute blast. I mean, from Monday getting down there to kind of get things ready for registration and organization, to check in, to spend time with the coaches and players, the Shriners kids throughout the course of the week. It is a great cause. It's a great event. It was really cool to see the coaches talk about their experience afterwards and the players talk about their experience afterwards, just from a bonding standpoint, and then to understand what it's all about. It's hard to feel sorry for yourself, after whether you're tired in practice or those types of things, when you see the true perseverance of what these kids go through, on a daily basis, just to try to live a normal life, and what the struggles that they've overcome, and to listen experience is it's second to none. It's very humbling, very, very humbling. And I think the kids that were there that week really took that piece to heart, and almost all of them talked about it at the end of the week, when they were interviewed by local media outlets that were covering the game. To a man, they pretty much all talked about what it meant, from that standpoint, which is the big picture, is to raise money to help kids.
It's an awesome cause. Mike Morrissey joining us on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. You are the chairman. You've coached in it. You look at our rosters. We'll talk about the players in a second, but the coaches that represented our area, some of the best. And when you got Nick Welch and Mike LeMay and Guy Derricks, and help me if I'm missing any others, but I know those were the three that popped out to me. What does it mean to get some? I think the coaches up here, and hope none of them are watching this, I think they're great. I think they're great people. They're great human beings, yourself included. I hate to say that when you can hear me, but what's it mean to see I mean, there's a bunch of great dudes up here that know how to coach in your conference as well.
For sure.
You gotta love sharing an experience like that with them.
Oh, it was unbelievable. And honestly, to see, Matt Furlong was the head coach of the blue team. So to watch the organization of how they put things together, to watch those guys collaborate and go through what a weekly plan is going to look like with multiple practices a day. And then for me, honestly, a real cool part was seeing even some of the small school guys that I didn't know as well, to watch them and their knowledge of the game, relationships. I think that's just coaching. If you're able to build relationships and be a great teacher, it doesn't matter if you're a big school guy or a small school guy. You can see the impact that they have on their kids and their community. And we're very, very fortunate here in the Big Six to have all coaches, men who are great leaders. And then we saw that, David Hay, who was the head coach of the red team. Jeff Reentz was the offensive coordinator of that team. Obviously, LeMay was on that. Tanner Benedict was amazing. Cody Myers was another unbelievable small school coach. Those guys were very impactful throughout the course of the game. Guy Derricks did a great job. It didn't matter. You couldn't tell if it was a 8A guy like Seamus Murphy on one side, or if you were a small school guy like Guy Derricks coaching on the other team. They had an impact on their team, and on their kids that they coached throughout the course of the week, not only fundamentally, but from a relationship standpoint of what the game's all about. So it was neat. And obviously, for me, this being my first year doing this, to have a lot of Western Big Six guys, what an incredible experience. An absolute blast being around those guys. Definitely winning on and off the field throughout the course of the week.
So I got to ask and follow up because Panthers and Maroons, Moline and UT, they're not supposed to get along that well. Does that help the relationship? Do you still guys, I know you guys like each other, but you're not supposed to be that close.
It was funny because early in the week, I think he made a lot of comments about my legs, which was fine.
Yeah.
I tried not to hold that against him, but honestly, we had so much fun, and I can't even put into words what a great time it was to spend time with Nick and Matt, and obviously LeMay and Guy and all those. To have the Quad City guys it was a blast. We spent all day, every day together, pretty much laughing and telling jokes and coaching and being around it. The bonding experience was legit. It was awesome. And, I got to joke around with some of the UT players there that week. I'm sure, he gave a couple shots at Drew Phelps and those things, but it was awesome. It was cool to see each other away from just football events, even though it was an all week football thing. We spent a lot of time together off the field, and that was rewarding. So, Yeah, like obviously Nick and I and Matt and everybody else, we'll take our shots at each other when we get a chance for sure. But it's all lighthearted now, maybe comparatively to years ago.
No Schlemmer. Was there a height requirement? Is that why he didn't get picked? What was that?
It was. So unfortunately, he did not cut through the list, and so John didn't make it this year. But we're hoping for a growth spurt, so maybe next year. And no, John would have been awesome. John and John came up many times throughout the course of the week. Throughout storytelling, Mike LeMay there, he's got some dirt on some on some things. So no, it's again, it goes back to just kind of that brotherhood of coaching and the respect everybody has for each other, for sure.
Absolutely. Mike Morrissey joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, the chairman of this year's Shriners Bowl. You mentioned some of the Quad City talent that was down there, and I'll put the Quad City talent with Newman and Monmouth Roseville. We're going to group all that together. Some really fun talent. What is it like to, and you mentioned there's UT kids, there's Moline kids, they're getting together, they're playing together for a good cause, they're with each other in training. And it says something for our area as well, to have that amount of kids, on that stage, and you are still selected, and you have to be a good football player to get down there and play. Quad City well represented, didn't it?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, Nick Houston from Monmouth Roseville ended up being the defensive MVP for the blue team. So, I mean, that tells you the impact that he had on the game, going back and forth. And every coach was, we thought he was an elite football player. But it is neat. And I'm lucky to be a part of the selection process, so I can help advocate for a lot of the kids in our area while I'm down there. And obviously they're nominated for a reason, because they're the best representation of their school, not only as a player, but as a kid in their community. And the kids across the board, not just the Quad City kids, but across the state, they lived up to that all week long with how they worked with the Shrine Game kids and how they represented themselves throughout the course of the week at practice and on campus and things like that. But there's some really good football players, and some of the guys, the two kids from UT were outstanding. Obviously, Drew Phelps was an all-state football player for us that played in that game. And, like I said, Sterling Newman, Riverdale also had representation. They're good football players, and it's fun to see the Quad City kids come together. They exchange decals and do all that kind of stuff before the game and at halftime of the game and after the game and stuff. So they all kind of take a little piece of each other home after the game as part of the memories from being a part of an experience like this.
Sometimes all-star games or games like this aren't exciting. Sometimes. It sounds like
Correct.
That was not the case this year, young man. I talked to our good friend John Marx, and he was on the call for MC22. A blocked kick late. I mean, it was a really good football game. Tell me about the game itself.
Oh, it was unbelievable, and definitely a defensive battle early. I think it was low scoring at halftime for sure, and then the blue team got a little bit of a lead. They jumped out 17-3, and in the fourth quarter, the red team scored a couple times. Kind of had a mishap on the extra point, so they missed the extra point to keep it 17-16. I think got the ball with, maybe just under a minute left in the game, drove all the way down, put themselves in field goal range for a kid that I see kick 60-yard field goals in practice earlier that week. So that tells you, how talented he was. And time was still running. They got the field goal unit on the field. Went to go get it off, and it got blocked as time expired to win the game for the blue team. So it ended up 17-16 as time expired. It was awesome. I mean, and the weather was beautiful. Like last year at the game, felt like 100 degrees. It was brutal. We had great weather. We had a great crowd. The energy was incredible. The kids were really getting into it, and it was funny to hear some of the people, the coaches and kids included, be like, "Man, I didn't know how much trash talking would go on for a charity game, but you know how it is, man. These kids haven't played, a lot of them, since November, and like the juices start flowing again, and the competitiveness starts going again, and the coaches got into it, the kids got into it, and did not disappoint. It was a great event. It was a whole lot of fun to be a part of.
Mike Morrissey, head coach at Moline, joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, the Western Big Six has been in the news a little bit the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you had heard. My alma mater,
just a little bit.
Alleman doing a JV only schedule once again this year. We talked about it a couple weeks ago several times. Greg Armstrong did a great job, kind of just having an open conversation. Matt Shuckman as well was on from the Quincy area from Muddy River Sports and did a great job as well. And I've had so much feedback about it, and I feel like I don't want to I'm not trying not to compliment myself, but I was an idiot on both sides.
Oh, of course not. Of course, don't do that. Don't do that.
I got complaints on both sides, which makes me feel like I'm doing it halfway decent, because if I made nobody happy, that means that I'm at least I'm just, I guess, big picture. When you find out as a coach in the conference, what goes through your head? I'm assuming not shocked, probably disappointed. What goes through your mind when you find out?
I think there's always disappointment, and obviously this will be the 5th year that we have not had that game with Alleman. So, disappointment for sure. Unexpected, no, not really. Like we pretty much planned that that's kind of how it was going to be. So we reached out to a lot of schools leading up to everything, and we actually had one. I thought it was set. I really did. I up on a Friday, like we were good after the official word came out that they were not going to play. It was an 8A school up the suburb area. I'm like, yeah, this is going to happen. We're good. And then they wanted a 2-year contract when it was all said and done. We rotate schedules. So we'll have a week 8 opening the next year. So like, that's just not, it's not an option for us. So, we did lose that, which is unfortunate. I talked to Sam Knox actually when I was down there this weekend, about everything. And he's like, did you guys find anything? I'm like, no, we haven't. And, we've searched. Again, we're back to reaching out to Missouri or Wisconsin schools to kind of see what's available. But yeah, I mean, the disappointment is real. It is. And I think some of the other coaches that maybe are in our conference that are experiencing this for the first time, we're very frustrated with it. Obviously Nick and Matt both had some games canceled last year, and so they kind of understand, the feeling of it now. But it's out of our control. So we just try to look for the next best opportunity if we can find one. But at the same time, it's disappointing when now we have to try to find a game. We're worried about our kids losing a game. We were able to find one in 2024, which is nice, but I don't worry about anybody else. Like I worry about us and our kids, because it's they're the group that we serve here. So I want to make sure their experience is second to none. And so we're still searching and still searching for a game. And like I've told anybody, like, if you're willing to come to Moline High School to play that week, we'll play whoever it is. It doesn't matter who it is. So if you're willing to show up, we'll play.
I don't know if this is a loaded question, but is there a long-term solution or answer in your mind? And if you don't have one, you don't have to. Because we've talked about it. There's the Alleman has asked out for football only. That's been a no, and I get it. The more Coach Welch yelled at me, which probably did, because I didn't. I guess really, I don't think a lot of people realize that it makes it an unbalanced roster or conference. So
it does.
People think like, okay, Alleman leaves, there's an extra bye week or an extra week, you just play, but the universal non-conference can't happen because every single week there's a team that doesn't have a game during the conference schedule. So it has to be staggered. So I understand that more. I would also say, like, I think you'd probably rather know now that you need a game for next year than in June next year. So there is that to it. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about the track, if Alleman could go there. There's a lot. I don't know if there's a solution. We've talked about tons of them. Mike Morrissey, you're the smartest guy in the conference. Nick Welch told me that one time.
Well, look, being around those guys this week, I don't know if you're wrong about being the smartest one necessarily at times. I think we all have our moments.
A low bar.
And that's
set a low bar.
Look, these are some of those respectful jabs that you take again. But I don't know. I think for Alleman, obviously, from their perspective, it's a no-brainer. Going to the track would be the absolute best thing for them. It just is. And I think anybody in the track that listens to that, it's like, oh, well, we're worried about losing our kids to Alleman or what. Like, if you're not losing them now, you're not going to lose them. I'm telling you this. Like, at least in my opinion, you're not going to lose a bunch of kids to Alleman High, especially for football. In the track, you're not. If you're beating them or competitive with them and things are good, then your kids should want to just stay in your community. But I think from a Western Big Six standpoint, for us, like, them going and us bringing somebody else in would be the most ideal. The hard part is, like, geographically we're stuck, and that's it right there. Like, do you try to grab a DeKalb and see if maybe they would go? But I'm sure, have other options if they're going to leave their conference. Do you try to grab, like a Dixon or Rock Falls, who's also smaller, significantly smaller? Like, Quincy Notre Dame has obviously been brought up multiple times. But then do you end up in the same predicament that you're in now if there's an issue with enrollment at Quincy Notre Dame someday? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the best answer is. I do know with them leaving for football, only, it does put us in a really really difficult spot from a scheduling standpoint because it just doesn't match up. And so now, now you almost have to find a game because you don't get a forfeit out of it. You don't get, it's a lose-lose. I mean, you're pretty much in deep trouble. So I don't know what the best case scenario is. I know that it's been a challenge. I know it's hard on the teams now that are going to lose a football game that they planned on when you're only guaranteed 9 of them, and now you're just guaranteed the 8. I think that's always been, I think, our biggest issue is like, hey, we're as much the victim here as anybody else. I think like Sterling or UT and Geneseo, same case last year. It's disappointing for sure, and it's disappointing for the kids. Really, is what it comes down to.
Absolutely. Mike Morrissey joining us on Off There with Matt Randazzo. Brian Stocking is on the case, so he's thinking of something. If anybody can fix this, I think it's Brian.
Oh
Stocking.
Yeah, he's on it.
So
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Everyone. It is a different year. There's an earlier start. You guys start earlier when it comes to camps. Has it impacted you yet? Is it different? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you not know till maybe the end of this year and you can look back and say, oh, that was great. Or I wish we could do this different. Is it new? I guess.
I think it's just different. Yeah. I mean, like from a scheduling standpoint, it does change a little bit. We've always taken the 4th of July week off anyway. So that really wasn't a big difference for us. I think the part that's different for everybody is just the ending of the summer. Like, how much time do you give kids off at the end of the summer where they can still be a kid and still treat it like it's a summertime for them, but at the same time be prepared to start August 5th and hit the ground running. So, we've kind of catered it a little bit at the end. We're going to see how it works, and we are going to give them some time off because they do need time off away from us. Our coaches also need time off away from kids. We started June 1st, which is the Monday after we get out of school. So there is no time away really. But that's okay. Like I love these kids. Our coaches love these kids. We want to be around them, but at the same time, you have to have some time with your family, on both sides. So I do think the neat part is, again, being able to schedule games that maybe wouldn't happen. Like us playing Rochester week 1, this is, I mean, I was told this all week long, like this is arguably the best team that they've had in 10, 15 years. Like they got a bunch of Division I commits. They're going to be loaded up. Like they are very, very talented. Like, would that be something that normally we would take? I don't know. I mean, we've always played good teams. We've always want to play good teams early in the season. But if you're still chasing the 5 wins, is that necessarily one that you play? I'm not sure. With this format, without question, we're going to play games like this, and we'll do it again next year. We got to take week 1 and week 2 next year, and fill those. We're going to play some good teams. We're going to try to play some really good football teams just because we have to. So I do think that's the positive. I've said that from the beginning. Playing a Rochester, playing a Sycamore early in the season, to me is like a no-brainer because they're good, and you can still win 3, 4 games and get in the playoffs now, and not have to worry about that piece. So I think that's the positive. I mean, it's the main positive to take away from it is that I hope to see more competitive teams kind of reach out to other teams like that early in the season.
It's funny you mentioned that because I've been a critic of it, if you will, but I point out some of the things I don't love, but I like some of the things, like you meant, there's been years that like a team will get to 4 wins and they're playing really good football. And I'm like, man, if this team got in, they would win a playoff game. I want to say like even Sherrard last year was to a point where like they got to 4 wins. They didn't get to 5, but like you knew if they did, or maybe guys had some teams like that. So I do like that with injuries, with things that happen on those. If you get an important, especially with the smaller schools, if you get a guy back or 2 that are injured, that can help those things.
Changes everything.
Because there's probably a scenario, they tell me, I don't know again until we see, that you can win 2 games and get into the postseason. Would it be weird to like know August 28th when you win your second game that you've officially made the postseason? Is that different?
I think that's almost weird to even talk about. So we probably wouldn't even acknowledge it. We would just be like, hey, we just got to keep playing.
Yeah.
Week to week. We're not gonna sit here and say we're in the playoffs. We're just gonna keep rolling along. Like our kids here pretty much know, like, hey, if we win 4, we're gonna get in. 3 is probably, 2 is even a maybe. But at the same time, it's you don't want to sit there and say like, hey, we got to get to 3 wins, or hey, let's get these 2 and we're in. Like, you don't ever want to talk about that. That's almost like bizarre. But and yes, I get it. Like the negative is it feels like it's going to be a watered down system. But I mean, I know there's been multiple times where like a 4-5 Joliet Catholic or a 4-5 Naz Academy has made it all the way to the state championship game. Like that's happened. Now they play in a great league, so it's maybe a little different than most. But I mean, if you get hot at the right time, I look at like softball or volleyball or basketball or baseball or whatever. And it's like if you get hot at the right time, you can make a run. I mean, that's how all the rest, everybody else in every other sport gets into the playoffs. All of them in every sport. I mean, they just get in, right? Yeah. So we're not necessarily taking it down to that level, which I think would be a mistake if we did. And to kind of water it down, I know has been, not so great in a lot of people's mind, and I don't disagree with that. But I do think the one positive is maybe creating some really good, fun matchups early in the season that maybe some teams would have shied away from because they're worried about getting to 5 wins. So you may see some really, really intriguing games early, and that might kind of balance things out a little bit from the negative positive standpoint.
I don't know if I've talked to you about this. Do you like the possibility of a bye week? I know you got didn't you get an unexpected bye week a couple of years ago? Not to hammer my alma mater Correct. Even more.
I mean, we had an unexpected one last year, obviously. And we had unexpected ones multiple, but yes. we have. We've had I don't like the bye week. I'll be honest. I don't like it. I don't like to have the time off. Like, I think you can still structure practice and things like that where you're like, okay, and from a health standpoint, like, yeah, I'm sure it is. It's beneficial if guys can rest. Like, that is a positive. But I mean, you even look at like the NFL playoffs. Mm-hmm. How beneficial is it sometimes? Like, sometimes those teams get steamrolled when they come off. Like, I don't know. I guess you'd have to look at things analytically to see, what benefits there really are besides for just a rest and recovery standpoint. But I did not enjoy it. I'm not a fan of it. I like to keep the routine and obviously play as many games as possible. And so that's kind of the hard part. I don't know what the benefits are. I really don't.
That wasn't a fun answer for me because unexpected bye week is the Pioneers, and then 15-2 Lions team that had a bye week a couple years ago and then lost to the Commanders. So
do you know what I'm saying?
That was not a fun answer out of you.
I just don't know. That's it. That's what I mean. I don't know if it helps or not.
You're right. Mike Morrissey joining us. I'll let you get going. I know you got a lot to do today, but a couple more quick ones. Your guys this year.
Yeah.
I know that you like your team. You've done a great job building the program. I know Kevin Gorgle's not there to carry you per usual, so I don't know how that'll go. But just talk about your team in general.
Oh,
I know
you're not
you like
wrong.
your guys, and I know you like your staff even without Kevin.
I do.
What's it look like for Moline this year, and how excited are you to see how this thing comes together? I know we're here in the middle of June, so you don't have all the answers, but you like parts, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. There's things coming together, and our skill kids are on both sides of the ball. I mean, a lot of them are back. So we do bring a lot of experience from a skill standpoint back. The offensive line, defensive line, a couple guys here and there, but we do have some holes to fill. And obviously the summertime is a great opportunity for guys to step up and give themselves a shot to be in the mix and be competitive and see where they're at. And then obviously, what we do from a scheduling standpoint, like we're going to find out real quick what we're made of. Literally week 1, like we're going to find out what these guys are made of. So, we've had some good guys, some kids come in that have been awesome. We've been very fortunate from that standpoint. And then some kids that have kind of stepped up into their role and are anxious to be a part of things. So July will really give us a better indicator, I think, with kind of how the joint practices go, like where we sit and what we feel like our identity is going to be. But summertime for us is always an opportunity to try different things and throw a lot of stuff at these kids, see kind of what sticks and where their strengths kind of rise to the top of what we're going to hang our hat on both sides of the ball.
What's it look like for you guys? I know there's a dead week in which nobody can do anything, but it's earlier. Yep. Is it 4th of July week? Is that
It is the 4th of July week.
I have high school kids of my own, but so it does start earlier. It comes quicker, correct?
Yeah. So we'll finish up on Thursday morning, and then we don't come back until after the 4th of July. So we got a nice little break. And then we got 2 joint practices. Dunlap's going to come down to us. In the 21st, I believe, and then the 14th, we're actually going over to Brady Street Stadium. We'll practice with Iowa City High and Davenport Central. So we'll have a good opportunity to go over there and do something fun with some Iowa schools, and again, just an opportunity for our kids to see somebody different, in pads. Like that's the nice part about Illinois kind of allowing that stuff to happen now. So we'll see some of that, and then by the end of the month in July, we have a pretty good idea where we're at as a football team, and our staff's just done a tremendous job. Obviously, they did everything this last week while I was gone, and and everything's kind of hit the ground running. We didn't miss a beat. So our staff's been absolutely amazing with that. And
Gorgel was down at the Shrine game. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So I got to spend another week with KG, which was incredible. Now I'm going to tell you this, and I'm saying it publicly. Like at some point in August, I could see him being a little bit bored and maybe showing back up to a couple practices. I know
coach here and there
in some role, some capacity. I know my dad, who's our other O-line coach, has been like, "Hey, Kevin, what are you doing? Like, come on. Like, you got dude, you can only spend, and you know how this is going to go. He'll spend from like 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. at the YMCA. And then a guy that is structured and loves that piece to it. Like, what are you doing with the rest of your day, man?
So hold on.
What are you doing?
From 10 to 11:30 or 12, he's watching this show. Okay, so let's put that into a schedule.
Okay, so there's an hour. Hour, sure. Then The Price is Right comes on, or a rerun of that, I'm sure, at some point. But then what are you doing? Like, come on, man. Like, look, without question, I am going to bug him and bug him and bug him. And then when he's got to go watch, Bennett's stuff, like at North Central, go do it whenever you want. So you show up when you want. But of course, if you tell that to Kevin, show up when you want, he's going to be there all the time because he can't do anything. He can't do anything halfway. So I would expect, maybe it's wishful thinking, but I'm hoping we get him at least a little bit throughout the fall. Yeah.
Mike, before we let you go, there's a new guy in the conference, Anthony Rome. I don't know if you've met him yet, but I think I know who he is. He's getting a lot of love. Pearson did a great story with him.
I saw that. That was neat.
He comes to the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing this year. First time there. I don't know first time there because I think he probably golfed with Welch one year. See, these guys actually come out and take part. It's a lot of fun. And they win. The Rock Island coaches, they won the entire Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. This guy's on fire right now. I don't know. You should be worried maybe.
Well, I mean, it's probably easier to win when Moline, UT, Geneseo are all not there.
Sterling wasn't there.
And Sterling. I mean, John has no excuse. Slumber probably should have been there. No height requirement on that
Alleman was
one.
there.
So
no joke.
I mean,
no jokes needed. Nope. Mike.
So
no.
Okay, that takes care of itself.
No.
But I mean, I guess it's easier to win when the rest of the group is not around. I guess so I get it. Look, a win is a win, so you take it, and I respect that for sure. But I'd be willing to bet if you ask some of the guys that were down at the Shrine game all last week, they'd say that the outcome would probably be different on Saturday if they showed up for that.
I love it. Well, let's make that happen next year. The whole Western Big Six has to be there, and maybe a joke or two along the way when it comes to the banquet. Hey, quick, August 9th.
Yes.
Is I don't know if I told you or if Greg's gotten a hold of you.
We talked about it. We talked about it while we were down the Shrine game this week.
That's right. We talked about it. The View from the West kickoff banquet or kickoff show or whatever. Second annual one. Do you know what else August 9th is?
I don't.
It's my birthday.
Oh. Wow.
So
you're saying the birthday party.
Greg's doing a whole party for me. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
So
I'm telling we all said to a man this week, we cannot wait to go to that. Like, that was such a great event last year and something that we so much look forward to. Yeah. And just the atmosphere, how you guys organized everything, that was by far and away the most fun that we've had at anything like that. It was amazing. It was absolutely, and we wouldn't miss it for the world.
We'll talk a lot about it before then. And then I do have to the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet is the next Sunday, August 16th.
Correct.
And that's moving to the Stern Center, which I think will be a great atmosphere as well.
Yes.
So
I agree.
think that might be more of a fun environment than maybe a botanical center. No offense to the botanical center. I'm going to get myself in trouble, but a bunch of high school football is coming up before we know it. Thank you, young man.
Yes.
Get back to work, all those kind of things. We'll catch
Matt,
up with
appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you soon. That is Mike Morrissey, head coach down over at Moline, but of course the chairman for the Shrine Bowl this year. And we were well represented coaches-wise. We were very well represented when it comes to players as well. We got a lot more to get to. You're watching OTA on a Monday right here in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. A busy weekend. A lot of people had a 3-day weekend. It was Father's Day weekend as well. A busy weekend with the golf outing. The Shrine game was going on. A lot to talk about. So we're joined now by a familiar face, Johnny Marx. Happy Father's Day, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Same to you. Mine isn't as crazy as yours because I'm not getting hit from four sides. But it was a great day. I got to train with my son. And, of course, we couldn't play golf. But I went and saw the movie Michael last night. So
how was that?
As somebody who grew up in that era, it was done really well. That's all I'm going to that's all. Yes.
No.
Make whatever adjustments you want. The
John
movie was
Marx,
done well.
John Marx doesn't have that little statement and then stop. You have more an opinion. What's going on there?
Yeah, I thought Michael went off the deep end like everybody else. But they tried to play it off the skin thing. He tried to lighten his color of his skin. He had 100 nose surgery.
So they were probably more favorable. They painted Michael in a really good light.
Really good light, yes. And the music in itself, Maddie, phenomenal. Yeah. And I wish I could dance like that. So it certainly didn't paint Joe Jackson in a very polished light. So I'm okay with that. I didn't like him.
A couple hips ago, though, you could dance like that, right?
Especially at a wedding on top of a table, like nobody's looking. And I was famous for that.
It's funny because my 9-year-old Carson, my youngest, my baby, he loves Michael Jackson's music, which is like, even Jen said to me the other day, he's like, or my sister, I think, did. He's like, we were in the car with Carson and he wanted to listen to Michael Jackson. I'm like, he likes the Michael Jackson Pandora station. Like, that's cool. His jam right now. That's what he likes. So, no, it was I know you were down at the Shrine game. We just had Mike Morrissey on. You called the game for MC22. First off, an awesome game, but you're a Quad City guy to heart. So we'll kind of piggyback off what Mike talked about. You look around and you see a Coach Furlong and a Coach Welch and a Derricks and Mike's running around everywhere, and the local talent that was on the field from games you've called and people we've watched a lot of times. Really cool for the Quad Cities. It's a great cause, and it's not about the Quad Cities, but good weekend for Quad City football, wasn't it?
It really, really was, and all the Voorhees and Fillers and Kate Drew Phelps and the lineman from Walrab from UT, et cetera, and the Riverdale kids all represented really, really well, did great jobs. Yes, and you forgot to mention Kevin Gorgel. who gets an opportunity? How lucky were those kids to get someone as gifted and smart and a great dude as well to go down and work with the offensive linemen all week. So yes, we were well represented. Great game. We all know the reason for the game, and that meant the world. Game got a little chippy. As you know, my son is still angry at how poor the long snapping was. It cost the red team the game.
Yeah.
And so that's another point. He got to meet Coach Morrissey and a couple other guys and just fell in love with what the work that they did. And Jackson did stats for us, so we had a great time. And Pete and I enjoyed calling it. Eric Jartz and his team, Maddie, you know that, and with especially having Coach Morrissey now, and I got to talk to Mike LeMay, who I haven't seen in a while. They do a great job. The kids understand why they're there, and you can't say enough about the great work the Shriners do. And I was just again, you've been in these situations, pal. We were lucky and blessed to be able to call something. And I got the pregame. I did all the interviews, and I got to meet Poppy from Newton, Illinois, amazing young girl, and James from the Chicago area, who when the players saw James, they went nuts. They ran out and while I'm trying to do an interview with James, they were hooting and howling and came up and hugged him up. So yes, thank you for asking and allowing me to share how special day it was.
No, it's a ton of fun. And to be like you said, when we get to do stuff like that, be part of events like that, you just try not to mess it up. You know,
that's it.
The story tells itself, those kind of
Absolutely.
things. It's art. We just got to make sure we don't mess things up along the way. Obviously with football being right around the corner, we just had, like I mentioned, Mike was just on, and we talked a lot about the Shriners, but we had to talk about the Western Big Six, the news of the last couple of weeks, no Alleman football. I said to Mike, and I preference this with everybody knows, I got a helmet on the desk and I'm an Alleman alum.
So do I.
Yeah, and everybody knows that. We tried for 2 days when it went down. Greg Armstrong one day, Matt Shuckman the other day. Different opinions from both, and I think both were well respected. Explained those kind of things. I mean, it wasn't nothing malicious or anything like that, but I don't think we came up with an answer. So I guess your thoughts as a guy who coached at that school, has been in that building for played with that helmet on his head. Was it leather back then? Or did they actually still have the hard?
It was. It barely had a face mask.
Because
yes, I know.
if it was leather, it would explain John Marx to a lot of people. But your thoughts, just take me from your Alleman standpoint first, and then we'll talk about Western Big Six and that stuff. But as an Alleman guy, your thoughts of the news a couple weeks ago.
For my true Alleman-ness, killed me, absolutely murdered me on 1,000 levels, and having. Played there, having coached there for 3 decades, and both football and baseball. Maddie, the glory days, you know what? You got to put all, and to that, I need to learn, like many others. Coach Barton's doing a phenomenal job, and working his rear end off to get people in the building. Jane Barrett doing an amazing job. Jerry Burkhead doing an amazing job, working their backsides off, Matt, just to get people in the building. Now, if this hurts some people's feelings right here, then I apologize. That was the on the male side, maybe the fewest numbers and the least gifted. That's the best way I can say that. Least gifted athletic group in a long time, and the problem was and then there were a few numbers. Now
the senior class, the last senior class,
yes, and excuse me. They were still. That's the group that came in after fighting the effects of a priest that ruined things and a principal and an AD that ran. Look at me. I don't care. Call me. You ran the place into the ground. Yeah. So and I'm not afraid to tell you that if I looked you in the eye. So we've done that, and that's Thomas Smith has done a great job recruiting in baseball. Scotty did a nice job in basketball. Coach Ford, phenomenal in girls basketball. The soccer programs, especially the girls soccer program, no knock to the boys, phenomenal.
The boys were great last year too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a huge a fan of the girls soccer program. But the other part is these were not football kids. I mean, and so then you had some elite players that didn't want to be part of it anymore, and that bothered me even more. So the numbers weren't there. I understand what they're doing. Here's the good thing about all this, Matt, and you know this because you're deeply entrenched as well. The numbers in the school are up, and that is a direct result of Jane, Jerry, and Mark, and everybody trying and give Thomas Smith, who we all like to kick every and now and then, give him credit for bringing young people. He's a Pied Piper. They kind of lost some things when Nate Gilbreth decided that he was going to go to Assumption, because there's not a bigger Pied Piper of football people, of kids being in football, than Nathan Gilbreth at Assumption. Coached with him, coached him. If you wanted somebody that was going to get the one guy or the one kid you didn't think was going to come out for football, Nate Gilbreth will get him there and have him understand that, hey, he can be in part. If he's not a starter and getting full-time reps, we'll find a place for him. That's the beauty of somebody like Nathan Gilbreth. So back to the original part of the question, Maddie, it killed me. It absolutely broke me. My son was going to, until he starts PT school, was going to help them. Now he's going to coach with Coach Gilbreth until he starts PT school, just because of this situation. And because he can't do it during the week because he's in school. Yeah. He's in grad school. So I think as a proud dad, that's a huge gift for Assumption. But Alleman, give Coach Barton credit and give him a little time.
Barber,
they'll be back. But I've also found some compassion, and I'm not going to mention some ADs that I've been with over the last few days that get it. I found some compassionate people who understand they have to look at the Big Six as a whole, and I understand that. But what you got to move forward and do the best that you can, and see if you can eventually get it back to be. You can't send freshmen out there, Matt. Yeah. Freshmen and sophomores, you know this. You cannot send them out there every day in the Western Big Six. They're going to get their heads knocked off.
Absolutely. And I think that the difference is, you mentioned in the Western Big Six, I think it's heard all over the place, but you can probably do that. And people, and this isn't, I got a lot of feedback, Johnny, both negative and positive. So I felt like I did a decent job the couple of days we did it. And I'm not saying that but like Matt Shuckman did as well. Greg Armstrong's as good as they get, but we just had an open conversation. And if I got complaints from both sides, that probably means we were having a pretty good open conversation and we were doing something correctly. So I love the feedback from both sides, and people want to continue to give it. I get it. And it's not bashing. I had somebody say to me, you're just bashing the track because you think that young kids could play in the track. It's good football. I know it's good football. Some of my favorite coaches are there. Like, that's some of the most successful programs we have. But when you have a pool of 2,200 kids, you're probably finding bigger and stronger kids than at schools of 300 kids. And that's my whole point with that. You just simply can't do it. I will say this, and you echoed it, but again, it got down to like 250 kids back when the terrible trio almost killed it. And now it's up over 300, expected to be up over 300. So, but with that being said, that means that the first time around, it was because there's only 250. Yeah. Now there's 310. There's kids in that program, in that building that should be probably playing football. So That's where Alleman has to say, like, hey, we need to. And I think Coach Barber's doing a good job of getting out and doing those kind of things as well. Okay, I asked Mike Morrissey this. I'll ask you this. What's the answer? I don't have one. But what's the answer right now? I don't know if there's a clear-cut home run answer right now. And I'll say quickly, like we talked about, letting Alleman out for football only, and it makes sense on one side, but I do understand the Western Big Six side of like, hey, that means there's going to be 1 week every year, or 1 week each week, one team that's got to have a non-conference. You can't have a universal non-conference week because of the unbalanced schedule. I understand that. So I will throw it to you. John Marx always has an answer, and if he doesn't have an answer, he'll make one up. So what's the answer?
I don't know if they're ever going to be able to compete again in the Western Big Six in football. That's me. And go ahead, climb on. I don't care. and to make it competitive. And you know what? You and I are friends with Coach Morrissey and Welchie and all those, and Coach Rome at Rock Island. So here's again, it might be forever if you allow them to do other things in the Western Big Six. Fine. That your Friday nights, if you're an Alleman High School football family, you're an independent for a while, and maybe some other conference. And I'm not throwing that's great football in the track.
Yes.
It's great football in the South Suburban or whatever the Southern conference that they've initiated conference contact with, or another toward Bloomington that they've initiated contact with. So again, you have to get into somewhere where you can survive. And remember, 3 games get you in the playoffs. So if you are an Alleman football person, I believe that eventually you're going to have to go the independent route for a while. And I don't know if the Western Big Six will, after it moves ahead, will ever allow you to come back into football. And you know what? You got to start paying for some buses because you're going to start making some rides. But that's the only way. If you want that gate on a Friday night, which everybody needs, and Alleman fans traveled well. Ask any athletic director, good, bad, or indifferent. Alleman people were there. They need that Friday night gate, and Alleman needs football to help overall with the budget to get people somewhere on a Friday night in their building.
I love it. And I agree with a lot of it. I get feedback from both, and I still don't know the answer. I have people send me ideas of I had an idea of I had somebody say, how about you split up the Western Big Six and have the big schools in a conference of 4, a division of 4, and then the smaller like Alleman. And it's a good idea, but it doesn't solve the fact that they have to play each other, that they have to still play and
being safe for freshmen and sophomores.
I have heard, and I don't know if it's true, but whatever, it's my show, that more kids, would you agree with this thought? More kids at Alleman, would we be more in depth or more apt to go play football if they weren't in the Western Big Six? If they were preparing for Sherrard on a Friday night, they'd be probably more, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but a smaller school. Pick one. Pick a track school. Pick. They were supposed to play, I think, Fulton and Morrison. Games, but
2 really good programs.
Probably more willing to come out if they weren't going to know that they have Moline, Quincy. I mean, Moline and Quincy the last couple of years, and this isn't a bash, this is an excuse, but their front line, Johnny, look like D3 schools, D2 schools.
We've all coached and had to put up with those guys. Even with last time 20 the COVID 21 in the spring of 21 when we had actually legitimately 12 guys that were playing both ways. I mean, you had one guy that would spell everybody. There 11 guys playing both ways, and one guy he would rotate to get off an opportunity on a special team of that group. But there were 11 guys, so they would be more inclined to come out and not get their head knocked off by Moline, UT. And here's the other thing. They're loading up. That's their way of, they want to, if they can get to 50 in a hurry, they'll get to 75 even faster. So numbers, scores in a game. Yeah. They're not going to call off the dogs in the first or second quarter against Alleman. They're not going to take a knee like Dave DeJager did in the third quarter of a 47-0 football game in Orion. Yeah. It's not going to happen. So
John Marx joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll move on from the Alleman talk, the Western Big Six talk. I will see you later this afternoon for a fun MAC doubleheader. We're going to do the game for MC22. It's the couple games, a doubleheader at Assumption, PV Assumption. Johnny, 2 of the best baseball programs in the MAC. And I kind of want to start there because and I did my research and I've watched from afar and I know how good both teams are this year. But you just tell me Assumption PV, sign me up, I'm in, because the programs and the guys that run the programs do a great job.
Well, first of all, Greg Tisson is one of my favorite people of all time. Played professionally, great guy. Derek Steckline, a Division I guy at Pleasant Valley. What you'll see today is great pitching from Pleasant Valley. Assumption will have to play some small ball today and then try to make that happen. But before we get started, we should mention the fact that Davenport North went into Assumption and took a doubleheader last Thursday, and Colin Carson's group is done great work, and now they are in second place.
Yeah.
And with that loss, it bumped Assumption to third place in that conference. Pleasant Valley has great arms. They will always pick it, and we when we throw our keys out, you can always know that they're going to pick it up and throw it to the right spot, and they will always pick it. Do I think Pleasant Valley could be better offensively? Yeah, but again, one of the best coaches around. On the other side, I think Greg Tisson is as good as it gets. He's one of my favorite people. They will throw it. They will make sure that the ball gets to the right base. They will be fundamentally sound. He will come up with something during the ball game to counter what Coach Steckline does. And Dolan Dittmer and a couple guys can swing it. We'll wait to. This could be. It could be a 2-1 double. We could have a 3-2, 2-1 MAC doubleheader, Maddie, and you and I are out in about an hour and a half. So the neat thing of it is you have two class acts running two class act programs, and things will just you just sprinkle it and let it fall, and you and I will be privy to some great baseball today. So phenomenal teams.
And that's the fun stuff. Is I like those games. That's good baseball. I know some people like the little league stuff, and it's 15-11. And give me really good baseball. Give me decision making. Give me base running. Give me those kind of things, and sign me up all day. It should be a really good one. You mentioned North. North's very talented, Johnny. They've been good for like Colin Carson's done a great job with that program. That's a program that when you start talking about MAC baseball right now, you didn't involve Davenport North 5 years ago. Now you do. Like coming into the season, there's expectations at North. That's a beautiful thing.
2 words, Colin Carson's. Phenomenal. First of all, great dude.
Yeah.
One of the best guys you'll run into. And it helps to have Bryce Pauly as a 4-year starter and a next level guy who's simply a dude. And they have there's a couple others that are really good. And Pauly and then I can't remember the third baseman's name. They run out. Those are 2 starters, and they just come after you. They're not afraid to run, which I think is a Colin Carson's trademark. They will take the game to you. But yes, we never used to. North was always solid, but they were always that afterthought after you mentioned PV, Assumption, etc. And then you get right in the crux of things. And he's got a bunch of young kids that he's thrown to the wolves early to get them, like Assumption does every year, to get them experience. So they have the right guy running that program. I love that little ballpark that sits down in the gully, and they've done some improvements. They have a great AD in Coach Mosier. So again, always beware. If Colin Carson walks into your ballpark, you're going to be met with somebody who knows the game and can coach.
Absolutely. John Marx joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Johnny, Father's Day, and I don't know if you watched any golf yesterday. I loved both sides of the finish of the U.S. Open because you have Wyndham Clark, who's got his dad there that he didn't expect.
Yep.
And then you have Sam Burns, who just misses out and played great. I mean, he went in 7 back going in. So you didn't have high expectations of winning, and it came real close to. And you had
will do that to you.
You had his dad kind of embracing that and talking to him about that. That's what makes, I think, the U.S. Open super special, is that it adds the dad factor in with a great event already with golf.
Well, again, that's who how bad is this if I'm teaching my son the game? And I'm surrounded by enough people who know golf that will help him, including the Carpitas. But he never had time to learn. Take that a step further. I can't remember the U.S. Amateurs star who they got. Oh my God! And his caddy arranged it with the USGA and his dad to meet them after 17 to carry his bag. He made the cut. I mean, he was +7. Yeah. I think for the tournament is please, golf fans, don't crucify me for not remembering.
I should be able to help you.
His name. But what?
I should be able to help you, and I can't. It's slipping my name too. So
they changed it, and his dad, and he's waited for him. There he was, and his caddy went over, took the bib off, put it on his dad, and he carried his bag for 18. That was just that kind of melts you right there. And Father's Day, you think of the great things. I was usually in a ballpark with my dad, and this was the first Father's Day in 5 years my son's been home. So it was pretty cool. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know it because you're getting hit from 4 different sides.
Yeah. No, I got kiddos everywhere. Before I let you go, I don't even think you know this. This is just came down a little bit ago, but I don't think you know because you're hard at work. Michigan's head coach, Dusty May, head basketball coach, pretty good coach, right?
Yeah.
He's just been named the Dallas Mavericks head coach. There is a huge opening in the Big Ten now, as Dusty May has finalized a deal to become the Dallas Mavericks' next head coach. That's huge. And when it comes to Illinois fans that are watching and listening, that's the team that stood in the way of them probably doing maybe even better than they did this year, and they went to a Final Four. And I was in for several recruits that Michigan wants as well.
Right.
Big news in the Big Ten on a Monday in June.
Can we take that even a step further? If you're an Iowa fan, thank goodness Ben McCallum signed the extension.
Yes.
Thank goodness Beth Getz and everybody knew it was coming, but everybody understood the value of Ben McCallum. And now, how long? What's the buyout for Brad Underwood?
Yeah.
Does somebody from the big house make a phone call to Illinois and say, "Hey, can we talk to your head coach?"
Yeah.
Come on.
No,
Illinois. We know how great a program it is, but.
Yeah, I think that would be the biggest heel turn in Brad Underwood's life to be able to go to, because that's such a hater. I mean, honestly, you look at Illinois now, and there's other programs in the country, but like in the Big Ten, Michigan was where it's at, and I don't know. I mean, I'll start reading some more ramifications of.
What about Matt Painter?
There's not a portal open. I don't think.
No.
They can't get in a portal. So this changes everything when it comes to being able to get into a portal, being able to leave. I mean, and then you're in a day and age of college basketball where all of a sudden you're going to tell a kid so we have kids leaving just because they're not playing.
I know.
But now you're going to keep a kid there because their actual coach left, and that'll change a lot of stuff because they have talent coming back as well. They have kids coming in. They have transfers coming in. Wow. Big news in the Big Ten when it comes to Dusty May leaving.
Don't blame the kids
Michigan.
for chasing a check.
Yeah.
Never blame the young people for chasing a check in college football or basketball, whatever. That's hypocritical when you have something like this, when you are 60 days away from the start of classes and he leaves. Can you imagine what the Mavericks, did they say what they paid him?
No, nothing yet.
Just
I haven't seen anything yet. But I don't get it because Johnny,
what more can the Mavericks offer that?
But when you're Derek May, I'm not saying his name right, Dusty May. Derek May is the old Cubs outfielder, if anybody remembers. What, like you're at Michigan for as long as you want to be, like you want a national championship.
You just won.
Your job security and money and everything is. You go to Dallas, if you're not good in 3 years, you're 2 years, you're out the door. So, but yeah, I will say this: he wasn't overly well liked by the rest of the coaches in the West and in the Big Ten. So, I think that's probably it's and Iowa's in for several point guards that list Michigan. We'll get Tom Kakert on here eventually, but Caden Daughtry, who's coming to Iowa for an official visit, one of the best point guards in the country, for the Iowa State game. It's but when you talk about competition for Iowa, it's Michigan and UConn. Now, obviously, UConn's a big deal, but Michigan was a big factor at that as well. The kid that just left the state of Iowa, Jackson Davis, and is going to prep school in Kansas City. He's down to Iowa, Michigan State, Illinois, Purdue, but it has ramifications when it comes to recruiting. And obviously on the floor this year in the Big Ten. So some big news on a Monday here around the sports world. So Johnny, get ready for me. Get your homework ready.
Absolutely.
I'll try not to disappoint you today and carry my weight. I'll see you later on this afternoon. Appreciate you, buddy.
Love you, pal. Thank you.
Alrighty. That is John Marx joining us the day after Father's Day, talking a little basketball, football, and everything in between. We got a lot more to get to. You're watching OTA on a Monday. We'll be right back. For over 65 years, Lindquist Ford has proudly served the Quad Cities, and they're just getting started. Looking for a new ride? Check out a healthy mix of new and quality pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Need service? Skip the waiting room. With free pickup and delivery and mobile service, they come to you. No delays, no hassle. From routine maintenance to a full-service collision repair shop, it's fast, friendly, reliable, and always transparent. Lindquist Ford, serving the Quad Cities since 1959. Experience the difference today.
Hey, I'm the Crawford guy.
Ooh, do you guys always speak at the same time?
Sorry, guys. I'll go first. You know, if you need help with your heating or air conditioning,
or electrical,
or plumbing, Crawford Company can solve your problem.
But what about your problem?
What problem?
Do you not hear yourselves? Take it from me, the Crawford lady.
And me, the Crawford guy.
Crawford is the comfort company.
This summer, light the fuse on something bigger than fireworks. It's red, white, and you at the John Deere Classic. July 1st through 5th with world-class golf and 4th of July energy you can feel. Wednesday is Youth Day and kids 15 and under get in free with a paid adult. After golf, concerts on the course rocks the weekend. Carrie Underwood, headlines and All-American 4th of July celebration. And Old Dominion closes out Sunday. Stars, stripes, summer tradition. Get tickets now before they're gone at johndeereclassic.com.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off Day with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. A busy Monday in the Quad Cities. We've had some breaking news. We've had a couple of fun guests. We've had a lot to get to here on a Monday. Fresh off of a Father's Day weekend, a holiday weekend. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their 3-day weekend. I did. Of course, the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing was a ton of fun. We want to thank once again everyone who came out to watch or to golf with us, to take part in the event. Any way you helped us out, we greatly do appreciate it. But and again, the live auction is still going on. The silent auction, excuse me, still going on as we speak right now at GuyRandazzoGolf.com. You guys can take part in that and get a whole bunch of great different auction items. A lot of them all of them involving the Iowa Hawkeyes, including 4 tickets to men's basketball, 4 tickets to women's basketball, signed footballs, basketballs, all of those kind of things right now at GuyRandazzoGolf.com. We started the show talking about breaking news in the Big Ten. Dusty May is on his way to Dallas and the NBA to coach the Mavericks. Here to talk all about it with me is my good friend Tom Kakert from the Hawkeye Report. Almost said from off the air. That's a weird way to start the Monday with a Dusty May leaving Michigan. Was this on any type of radar anywhere, Tommy?
First off, it's good to be back on all ears.
Hey, did you have a good time this weekend?
I did. My favorite moment, my favorite moment of Saturday was.
Did I do something? Does it involve me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You guys were hitting, Matt's group was right behind me. Matt, Pat, Joe, Corey behind us. And we were kind of hanging around. Was it the 14th hole? The one where Pat hit the massive drive?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And you guys were trying to hit in there and we're getting very close to the hole. And your ball rolled back towards the back of the green. And I saw it. And it was a Lions ball. A Detroit Lions ball. So I picked it up, of course, had it in my hand, and Matt rolls back there and he's looking for his ball. And I said, "Did you be playing a Lions ball?" Yeah. And I said, "Blank the Lions," and threw a ball into the woods. And the look on Matt's face, we should have had a video camera going because the look of astonishment.
I couldn't believe you did, but it was a fake ball.
But it was another beat up ball that I just grabbed. And and I still had the ball. I still had that stupid Lions ball. But
do you really?
We got a good laugh out of it. You had it. No, you had. I gave it back to you.
Yeah, you did. You did. Tom, that's 14 holes into the outing. Everything's getting a little buzzy. Now that, I remember it clear as day, but I had forgotten about that. It was a great weather, great turnout. All that kind of stuff. Let's get the Dusty May stuff. Have you heard anything about it?
There was some rumblings just about hey, the NBA is pretty interested in Dusty. That's kind of all it really was. It wasn't like him linked to any specific job. This felt like this morning, like the Brad Stevens thing, when Brad Stevens left Butler and went to Boston. But that was even more surprising because you'd never even heard an inkling of hey, the NBA really loves Brad Stevens and they're thinking about, hiring him. That was in July and it was out of nowhere. This on the eve of the NBA draft where Dusty May will have 3 players drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
And I would think that one of them will probably end up in Dallas, is my guess, based on just
where do they pick?
I think that Morrissey they're 10th or 11th, I think.
Okay.
So maybe Morrissey or Yaxel end up there. Yeah, another Illini guy going, former Illini player going in the first round, like Pods did, Fajemski did with guys that just end up going elsewhere.
Because the first thing I think of is one, it takes a giant in the Big Ten and hurts them. It benefits Illinois in a Big Ten way. It benefits Iowa, I believe, in different ways. One, I think, just on the court immediately. The other one, maybe even on the recruiting trail as well. When you see it happen, what does it do for the conference in general? We'll start there and then get to the individual ones.
Probably hurts the conference just because you've got a guy who just won a national title that's leaving your conference. Yeah. That's a big deal. And maybe that's part of the motivation for him to leave is what else are you going to do here? You've got, they're going to be a top 5 team, but they were. I don't know, if people look at him differently. Sounds like they're going to hire Mike Boynton, who is his top assistant or one of his top assistants, who was at Oklahoma State previously. and Boynton was kind of the architect of their defensive efforts this past year. So, I think they're going to have him as an interim because they just don't want to go out and try and poach somebody away. It's probably hard to get somebody to leave. If you wanted to get a Nate Oates or a TJ Otzelberger away, it would probably be tough to do this time of year, where now you've got a chance where you can, maybe Mike Boynton goes out and has a great season and you just hire him full time, be it a Billy Donovan, or you get some of the other guys, the two guys that I mentioned before, some other guy emerges like Dusty May did at Florida Atlantic. Yeah. So they'll have some options that they'll be able to look at. So just from that perspective, but I think that the other thing promoting Boynton will do is they will then probably retain that roster.
So they have a bit of time to get open for 30 days?
Well, so what happens now, it's a new rule that got passed this past year. You can't, it used to be the portal opens up the minute the coach leaves. Now it's the portal opens up for 15 days after the 5 days after you hired a coach. So basically, you hire a coach, you got 5 days, and then those 15 days after that, you could go in the portal.
Does that allow or keep from other teams just starting to poach these kids right away? Is that what that's preventing?
They're trying to prevent that, yeah. But I'm sure there's all kinds of people calling, Elliot Cadeau's agent or Trey McKinney's agent or, whoever, all these guys. So they're poaching away. That's what they do. That's what everybody does.
Yeah. Tom Kakert joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. So that was a big question of mine is where do these players get to go? And for me, it feels like Dusty. Why does I feel like he's sticking it to Michigan? Like he's putting them in a bad spot. And you mentioned you don't want to go in June and try to find a head coach because then that trickles down to the next team. But did he do this later in the process in order to get the Boynton a better chance at the opportunity? Or is this just the way timeline fell because Dallas, how long had Dallas had an opening? It's been a while.
But it's not been extraordinarily long since Jason Kidd was let go. And I think they were probably pretty deliberate in the process. I think they were probably trying to persuade Dusty to take the job. And I'm sure Dusty looks at it like, hey, it's one of 30 jobs in the NBA. And so, and you get to coach one of the up and coming stars in the game in Cooper Flagg, potentially pairing him up with one of your guys, with Morez or with the Axel guy that you really enjoy coaching, and build a potential championship team in Dallas. Remember, they still got Kyrie Irving too.
Yeah.
So he'll be coming back. So, I mean, you're going to get an all-star guard back. You're going to get a future star in the league in his second year. So you've got a pretty good setup there, and you can keep adding pieces. So we'll see where it goes. But I think, just from an Iowa perspective, the most interesting thing is the 2027 point guards, because Michigan was very involved with Caden Daughtry, who's Iowa's #1 target at the position. And a lot of people thought that it was Iowa and Michigan as the top two, with UConn. I think UConn's really making a run up the poll here to try to get involved with him, and I think making some headway. So you've got Michigan probably out of the way. I don't think there's any way that Daughtry would go to Michigan now, just because you don't know what it's going to look like in a year.
Yeah.
You don't know who the head coach is going to be in a year. So he's going to make that decision, sometime this fall. Also, Jackson Davis, the kid from from Illinois, who's now going to be going to a prep school, but an Illinois native. Michigan very involved with him as well, and he's another probably, if Caden Daughtry's 1A, I think Jackson Davis probably 1B, and they might be 1N1 from Iowa's perspective, where you'd be tickled to get either of those guys, honestly. And now they'll be out for him. So clears a really big threat for Iowa in terms of recruiting 2 top point guards. They're cleared from the field now. Michigan is not going to be in that race anymore. So I think that's going to be super interesting to see how that helps Iowa. Now, Iowa does have Daughtry set up for an official visit the Iowa State weekend, September 12th. And then they got Jackson Davis coming the 19th. Why do I think they stacked it that way? Because they can get Daughtry on campus first, and you can get a feel. You can probably know, coaches know, if a kid's gonna, hey, are we still in this, or are we just, are we holding hands, or are we dating? Are we gonna get ready to walk down the aisle here, or are we just, doing, holding hands?
Holding hands?
The old Kirk Ferentz. The old holding hands. That's the old Kirk Ferentz.
Gotcha.
It's the old Kirk Ferentz.
Gotcha. You're old school.
We just holding hands, or yeah. So I think you'll find out, and then you can judge how hard you want to go after Jackson Davis the next week based on what you heard from Caden Daughtry.
Yeah.
So
I've had some people text me and say, like, a couple that said, hey, I was getting the Daughtry kid because this is, so you would say, and I said to them, it helps, doesn't seal the deal, but it helps.
No.
Is that the best way to put it? Like, it's why it has to help your odds, but like, there's still work to be done, correct?
Absolutely. There's nothing done. I mean, and UConn is making headway, and it's Dan Hurley, and Dan's got quite the resume. He's got a couple of national titles. I mean, he's legitimately one of the best coaches in the country, and that program is every year Final Four conversation, if not there.
Yeah.
So, but does that, I don't know their roster as well, so I don't know what their roster looks like next year or the year after when Caden Daughtry would be there. I know Solo Ball is going to be out this year, so maybe I think it was Solo Ball is going to be out. So we'll see what that all does for their point guard position.
Tommy, I got to ask you, in the chat, someone said, now we got to sweat out Ben going to Michigan.
No.
Just I have to ask.
No.
That's not a worry. That's not an issue. I mean, it's nice that we have a coach that other people like will be interested in, including North Carolina this past season. But that's not a thing.
His name is always going to come up, and Iowa fans should stop being insecure about Ben McCollum. If he does leave, thank him. It's okay. You just
don't
say
move on.
That. I don't see him. I don't see him leaving.
Yeah.
And if he does, life will go on. Beth will hire someone good. I think Ben's going to be at Iowa for a long time.
Yeah.
I do.
Don't lose sleep at night when every opening comes open.
No, I don't. Whenever an opening comes up at a high-profile job, the one that I've always worried about is Kansas. That's one that I would give pause to.
That. I don't like that. I don't like when you mention that. Bennett Sturts is going to get drafted tomorrow night. Do you have a thought, a pick? I think Tyler Tachman's, out at the NBA draft. He's going to join us tomorrow morning.
Yeah, he's at the NBA draft. Yeah.
But just, do you have a guess, a thought? What do you like? You're hearing thoughts?
I kind of wonder if I saw Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's got 2 picks in that teen range, and if they don't move up, they honestly probably need a little more shooting. That's why they've got Peyton Sandfort on that team.
Yeah.
But they could probably use another shooter. and another guard with some size. So I kind of wonder about OKC, maybe Memphis in that same range. I thought for a while that it was going to be like Detroit, who's in the early 20s, that would probably pick him. I don't think he's going to get past 20. I think he's in the low teens. He is kind of, from what I understand, he's kind of killed it in the process and had some really, really, really outstanding workouts for teams, individual workouts for teams. And we all know Bennett, the high character kid. I mean, and he's always, the thing that's amazing about him, he's elevated his game as he's moved up from D2 to Drake to Iowa. He elevated as he went along. And, we saw him this past year. Yeah, his 3-point percentage went down a little bit. He had to take a lot of tough shots against a lot of tough players. He's not going to have to take he's not going to have to take those shots in the league very often because he's going to be surrounded by better players. I mean, could you imagine him at OKC with Shea? The looks he would get with Shea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good.
I would agree. The thing people don't realize, and he played amazing. And I think I didn't realize it, Tommy, last year. I didn't realize coming into the season. I knew he was really good. I watched some of him at Drake, but the more I watched him, I'm like, and like you mentioned, those latent shot clock situations, I think were killers for his 3-point percentage because like he was shooting a lot of contested fade.
He just had to hoist.
Yeah, just had to get it up. And you mentioned him being a good and what a good guy. I always equate. I remember we did this show from Carver Hawkeye, and then I was up for it was one of the football games, and I stayed up the Friday night, and Saturday morning I went to Trader Joe's, and here I am on a Saturday morning, Trader Joe's before I head over to the Kinnick Stadium and shopping is Bennett Sturtz, and I see him from across the store, and I'm like, I think that's Bennett. But I'm not going to go run up and whatever. And I saw him make eye contact with me, and he made his way over to say hi to me. And I'm just like, he is he's as good as gold. We know that. Last thing I was going to ask you, Alabama, Iowa, before I let you go. That's a fun game coming up in Des Moines, real close to, what is it? Christmas? Like December 21st?
December 21st. Yeah. And they'll, there's another game another neutral game that's probably going to get announced soon. So
when does that get announced?
I don't know. I thought soon, but it's kind of the indication I got was soon. So
yeah,
we'll not play spoiler, but it'll be, it's what's interesting about Iowa's non-con schedule. They're going to play one game outside of the state of Iowa. Non-con wise, they'll play a Big Ten game outside of the state of Iowa in December too. We don't know what that'll be, but just the 12 non-con games. Only one, the Xavier game on November 20th, the night before Iowa plays in Champaign against your Illini. That will be the only true road game that the Hawkeyes play.
Really? Where's that at again? What'd you say?
Xavier, right? In Cincinnati.
Xavier. Gotcha. It's going to be a fascinating schedule because I remember last year, and I remember having Tyler Sash on the show. I think it was on the radio show, and he was like, "We wanted."
Or Josh Sash.
Josh Sash. Thank you.
Josh Sash.
Thank you, Josh Sash on the show, and he said, he's like, "Man, we wanted a better schedule. We wanted a better schedule." I'm like, "Yeah." You could tell he was cranky about some things that fell through. If that makes any sense.
I can tell you that talked to Beth Getz on Friday. It's on our podcast feed if you'd like to listen to it. But we didn't talk about it, but I talked to her a little bit afterwards, and I know she won't mind me sharing this. She was like, Ben tried calling just about every school out there, power school, for home and homes. She's like, he wants to bring big time teams to Carver Hawkeye, and nobody takes the bait.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we'll take you coming here, but we're not going to go to your place. It's just, that's how it is. So you get these neutral games, and that's what you deal with.
We need to get the powers that be to get a game to the Quad Cities again. Let's make that happen, Tom. It helped with the Moline boys last time, but I don't think maybe we can get somebody up there. Maybe when Charlie Randazzo and company, or Chase Randazzo, we'll probably go Chase. When he's playing there, we'll have.
You don't
him
think Charlie's good enough?
No, I don't want to. It's too much in the recruiting process right now. I don't want to give anything away.
I heard he was burying threes in Pella, Iowa this weekend.
He made a couple. That's for sure. He made a couple. Hey, last one. Best golf performance of the weekend that you saw at the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. I'm tossing one up to you here. Best golf performance you saw this weekend.
Kyle Huseman's really smoking the ball right now.
Did you watch Corey Sheets putt?
I did. I saw Corey Sheets putt. He's a machine.
He is a machine.
He might be the best putter.
He called his shot. He told me I make great putts, and it was amazing. We ended up finishing 4th, I think, tied for 3rd. If that's the thing.
It's amazing when people started monitoring your shots, and
what was
suddenly you guys got a lot more pars.
No, we birdied 14. We eagled 15 right by you guys. We did.
I know that, but
we were losing.
The back nine.
Back nine's tougher, first and foremost. There's no dice hole, right? So the dice hole hurts us. We didn't have the dice hole to win. When you had Kyle auditing you guys. And some people would say that we were overserved. So the back nine got a little tougher, Tommy. Get a little tougher swinging the club when you're overserved a little bit. So hey, thanks for hopping on. I know you got a busy morning. I told people at the beginning of the show, Tom Kakert is a machine. He works out like 5 times a morning. So he's probably done. What are you between like 3rd and 4 when it comes to workouts? Got a couple more left?
Oh, no.
Hey,
my old body's breaking down.
I'm scared right now because this is live. A lot of times we tape. So anything you do, it's there. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't cut anything out or say anything. Go listen to the Hawkeye Report. Go listen to the Hawkeye Report podcast with Beth Gatz. You recorded it Friday?
Friday.
So go listen to it right now.
Yep. Had Jay Norvell on last week too.
Yeah.
I'm going to have quarterback coach Billy Vandermarket on Wednesday and Seth Wallace on Thursday. So
TK. No room for me. Yeah, there's no room for me.
But it's good to be back on All Ears.
Are you done? Live on All Ears. Live on all. All right, Tommy.
Dangerous.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, pal. See you, buddy.
All right.
Bye. All right, we survived without him saying anything bad, which is always nice. We didn't cheat one time this past weekend. We did not. We didn't need to. We're a great golf team. And again, congratulations to Anthony Rome's team. I think. Boy, I hope I got that right. Again, things a little brillery at the end of things, but I know the Whiteman group with Jace, I think it is. There's like a million of them. His group finished 2nd, I believe. I'm trying to remember them all. So Morgan Strackbine won one of our like closest to the pins, which I thought was awesome as well. So anyways, again, GuyRandazzoGolf.com. You can go, and the silent auction open until midnight. So midnight tonight is when it closes down. Great items, especially if you're listening to this for the Hawkeye content that Tom Kakert just provided. Tickets to men's basketball games, women's basketball games, signed balls, signed pictures, all of that right now at GuyRandazzoGolf.com. Here in the Quad Cities today, MC22, 3 o'clock, we'll have a baseball doubleheader between Assumption and Pleasant Valley. Myself and John Marx on the call. I encourage you guys, if you want some really good high school baseball, check that out as well. I'm going to go join Johnny once again. Thank him for being on the show. Also, thank you to Mike Morrissey for being on today's show. It's funny because I probably looked at this I probably started looking ahead to today a little later in the weekend than I normally do. Maybe later on Sunday yesterday because of Father's Day. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have a very busy show tomorrow. And then here I am at 11:45 going, hey, we had a busy show today. So again, thank you to Mike Morrissey, to Tom Kakert, to John Marx. Thank you guys for watching. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is the NBA draft. Tyler Tashman is at the NBA draft. He's going to join us tomorrow. Also on the show tomorrow, Craig DeVries talking about some announcements from the John Deere Classic that just came down. Some good ones. Jackson Coyven, Luke Clanton, Michael Thornbjornson are all in this year's John Deere Classic. So young stars there once again. So we'll talk about that and much, much more. And whatever else happens over the next 24 hours. We'll see you guys here tomorrow on OTA.